I'm about to be really salty. So today I decided to film a story time video because I love making story times and you guys like watching them, so I figured I should start doing these a lot more on my channel. And recently I thought about a really annoying situation that happened to me a couple years back, and I thought that it would make a great story time video. So basically, I'm going to be talking about the time when I got scammed in real life by this little jerk. Okay, so this story took place 6 years ago. 6 years ago. Wow, I'm old. I was 12. Now, let me just say, when I was 12, I made lots of really dumb decisions sometimes, and I was just very naive. I never thought anything really bad would happen to me, I guess. So I tested my limits a lot. So anyways, alright, let me just, where do I even get started with this? Here's how it all began. I used to collect these things called squishies. I think I have some in my drawer over here. Let me see. I have a couple. Let me show you what they look like. Well, alright, basically they are these little rubber animals, and these are really old looking and gross, but but they were the thing back then. Everyone collected them, and there were these really valuable ones that you could collect, and they were called Squabble Crazy Rares. But anyway, they were like basically squishies with extra paint on them. That's essentially what they were. Yeah, they were like rare, and if you had them, then basically you were cool. Anyways, I had a YouTube channel at this age. You guys probably may have already known that, but if you didn't, I've had a YouTube channel since I was 10, but I used to make videos about these all the time. And so another fellow collector, I guess, we're gonna call him Edward, all right? I'm not gonna use his real name. Anyway, Edward was another squishy collector, and he had like a huge collection. I think it was even bigger than mine actually, and he happened to have some Squabble Crazy Rares too. We actually kind of texted and FaceTimed regularly just because we had the same common interest, squishies, and we would talk about them. We would always get into little fights. Literally everybody did in this community. Almost every squishy collector would get into fights here and there about really stupid things, like,
you have more octopus squishies than me, oh my gosh!
Really stupid things like that. So one night, me and Edward were FaceTiming, and Edward mentioned to me that he thought it would be a really cool idea if we did a Squabble Crazy Rare trade in real life. And like I mentioned, Squabble Crazy Rares were the rarest of rare squishies, and we decided that we would work on a trade and swap our items basically in real life, because he told me that he was going to be going to the mall that I always go to. We thought it would be cool to meet up and trade. So anyways, we worked on our trade. I didn't even ask my mom if I could do this yet, but we went ahead and we sorted things out, like, and I remember thinking, wow, I mean, the trade was definitely fair, but I was thinking, I'm so surprised that he is even going to be giving me any of his Squabble Crazy Rares at all, because he seemed to be very protective of them. Like, he really liked them. So it was kind of shocking to me. There were stories that he scammed people and all this stuff in the past, and so I was really apprehensive about the whole thing, but I decided to go ahead and do it anyway. And I remember that night, after we decided that we were doing this, I didn't even ask my mom yet, so I kind of had to go do that. And I remember she said no, but I knew that if I begged her enough, she would probably say yes. If I gave her all the right reasons for her to say yes, she would say yes. So I was like,
come on, I really trust him.
Meanwhile, what is wrong with me? But I tried to tell her, like, it's gonna be real quick, like, we have it all planned out, like, blah, 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 he's safe. It sounded weird. Basically, she ended up saying yes, but she wasn't too thrilled about it. She said yes anyway, though, so I was really excited. I remember that day, I had this bright pink Aeropostale shirt, and I made sure I had that on, and I tried to look all cute. I don't know why, but I did. And I had my trade items ready to go. My Squabble Crazy Rares, I gave him 9 of them. It was 9, I still remember. It was 9 of them, and they were my babies. Like, I loved them so much. If you had Squabble Crazy Rares, you literally treated them like gold. So I was giving him 9 Squabble Crazy Rares, and he was giving me a whole bunch of his Swinkies and 3 of his Squabble Crazy Rares. But it was fair because I was getting a ton of Swinkies. So even though it wasn't an equal amount of Squabble Crazy Rares, I was okay with it. Alright, so I get to the mall. I'm really excited. I'm texting him, you know, like, where are you? And we ended up meeting up. He was a little bit late, so I was shopping around a little bit, then he finally said that he was at the food court. That's where we agreed to meet, at the food court. And I remember, like, my mom was with me and everything, and his grandparents were there, and it was just super awkward. I remember seeing him, and it was weird, even though, like, we weren't, like, tight or anything. It was just kind of cool to see someone that you kind of watched on YouTube in real life, regardless of how popular they were. It was just, like, one of those things, I guess. And so I ran up, and I gave him this giant hug. And, I don't know why I did that. Okay. That happened, and then he wanted to get right down to business. So he sat down, he got out all his little squinkies, but then I didn't see any of the Squabble Craze Rares that he agreed to give me, so I was just thinking, okay, well, maybe he's gonna give them to me last or something. It's like a grand finale, I don't know. I thought it was really weird because as he was getting out his Swinkies, his hands were shaking, like legitimately shaking, and I knew it wasn't because he was excited to see me, because I just knew that wasn't the reason. He wanted my squishies and that was it. So anyway, his hands were shaking and I thought that was a little bit weird, but I didn't think much of it. So he gave me the Swinkies, and I guess he didn't put them in a bag that I could take home. It was like a little backpack thing. So my mom had to go into Bath and Body Works, I remember, buy a hand soap just to get a bag so I could take these Swinkies home. And I gave him my side of the trade first. Like, he was examining all of them. Like, this was literally him, okay? This was him. This was him. Like, and his hands were shaking, like, profusely. So I thought that was really strange. But I had my Swinkies, which was, you know, what I was most excited about, but also, obviously, the Squabble Crazy Rares mattered to me, too. After I got the Swinkies, I was like, hey, yeah, what about the Squabble Crazy Rares? And he was like, oh, yeah. And so he brought them out to me in a little plastic baggie, and I don't know why I was so stupid. You know what I said? I literally said,
thank you so much. I'm so excited. I'm going to wait until I get into my car to look at these because I want it to be more exciting.
Then after that, after he gave them to me, he could not get out of there any faster. He was just kind of like, okay, I don't remember what he said, but basically he had to go. So him and his grandparents left. And then I was so excited. I was telling my mom about, like, how excited I was that this actually worked out, blah, 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 blah. And then, okay. I get into the car, I buckle myself in. I don't know why I just told you about that detail, but anyway. And then I decided, okay, now is the moment. I'm going to look at the Squabble Crazy Rares. I open the bag, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like my heart sunk to my stomach. As soon as I just opened the plastic bag and saw them, I could tell that they were fake. So I started doing what he did. I was examining them, if you will, and, like, kind of making sure the paint was real, because you could have gotten nail polish or marker and made any squishy look real, you know what I mean? So I was looking at them and I was like, oh my gosh, these are completely fake. Like, he like colored on some of them and then painted some of them, and it was so obvious. Like, the real ones, the paint doesn't rub off or anything. Like, it's on there really well, especially for these super rare ones. I remember being so distraught and being like, Mom, you're not gonna believe this. All of them are fake. And I remember my mom was like, oh my gosh, let's go find him. Like, we're gonna hunt this kid down. And I'm like, Mom, no, we're not gonna do that. Like, she was so mad. Oh my gosh. I don't blame her. I was mad too. But I just knew that there was nothing we could do because he probably was long gone. He was probably sitting in his room already. Like, because like I said, he couldn't have gotten out of there faster. So I did not hold back. I texted him and I was like, what the F, dude? Like, why would you do this to me? And he was being a big jerk about it. But anyway, moral of the story is, listen to your parents, kids. If they say that something seems sketchy, listen to them. And don't do what I did, okay? Because what I got out of it was a bag of Squinkies that smelled like smoke, and these fakely painted squishies which found their way to the dumpster almost immediately after I got home. And then I thoroughly disinfected my hands and cried a little bit. Alright, but that was my story about the time when I got scammed in real life by this little jerk, Edward. But I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video. Definitely give this a thumbs up if you would like to see more storytime videos from me in the future. And comment below if you've ever gotten skimmed before, either in real life or through like a website, or I don't know, just tell me your stories. Let's rant in the comments down below. We don't do that nearly enough on this channel, okay? Just gotta let it out sometimes. Alright, anyways, I'm gonna go, but thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!